Jacob, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Asante sana. Your writing has really been impactful in my life. It's that kind of writing that has, first of all, made me think about my own life as a young man.
Okay.
First things first. Maybe just a brief introduction of who Jacob is.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. It's an honor and a privilege. I'm an author of 14 books now. Unplugged is the 7th one.
Is the 7th book?
Yeah, it's my 7th book.
14 books?
Yeah, 14 books.
Well, okay.
Yeah, so at some point I really went beast mode. I think in 2022 I wrote 4 books. Unplugged is one of them. I wrote Transference. I wrote A Slice of Darkness for Breakfast. And then the one for Kevin Samuels also was an ebook, but I included it as a chapter in Unplugged. So, father of 2, married. I work as an IT project manager. So, I'm an IT professional, trained as a developer, system analyst, and right now mainly I do project management for mobile applications, iOS, Android, and USSD. Yeah, so writing basically is like a side gig. It's something I do on the side. But it's where my passion is. Initially, I was writing about fiction. My first 7 books, first 6 books are books of fiction. I stumbled on Unplugged because of what happened after COVID. I have a number of friends who got divorced. So I started researching on marriage, intersexual dynamics. And what I stumbled on, I realized many people don't have this information or knowledge. So I went into evolutionary psychology and intersexual dynamics, and so that was the birth of Unplugged. And it was not easy initially because Unplugged, when I wrote Unplugged, I lost a number of friends. One thing many guys don't know, women generally read more than men.
True.
Yeah,
true.
So most of my followers on Facebook were actually women when I was writing fiction. Yeah, but when I wrote Unplugged, I lost a number of them. But the good thing is what I gained by far surpasses what I lost. Because other than the monetary aspect, because Unplugged has really been selling, there's the influence, there's the respect, and people sort of came to recognize me as an authority. Even the authors, and even in universities and institutions of learning, they pay attention. I'm aware that, for example, there have been people who've quoted Unplugged in law thesis, and people who are in sociology have also referred to Unplugged. So even in higher learning, they've recognized. And I think it's because I took a very scholastic approach when writing Unplugged. I made sure that I reference authorities when it comes to endocrinology, evolutionary psychology, history, religion, and so on. So it has been a very interesting journey. It has made me go into areas that I was not into before, like being a speaker, being a coach, being a mentor, and things like that. Yeah, so Unplugged actually is what has brought me here also.
Hey, true. Because anyway, I actually like... During Maandamano, there's a guy I came across just along, just around Java, Kimathi. And I think I tagged in that photo.
I saw it, yeah.
The guy alikuwa amevaa t-shirt Unplugged, and I was asking this guy, do you know what you're wearing, my friend? And he's like, he wasn't really aware of what he's actually wearing.
Okay.
But the guy had a t-shirt written Unplugged. For me, Unplugged has been that book that has really opened up my mind, especially in areas masculinity, taking care of yourself as a man. Quick question. Your diary. This is the Unplugged diary.
Yes.
A good diary that you've given to me, and thank you for the hoodie again.
You're welcome.
A woman's tears are only genuine when she's alone. Can you explain that? Because I've tried to think about it. A woman's tears are only genuine when she's alone.
Yeah, so this is, of course, some of the things that even the ladies don't like when you talk about. But crying comes very easy for women. And this is something they learn particularly when they're growing up. That when you want certain outcomes, you can easily, we normally call them the waterworks. You turn on the waterworks. So a woman can easily cry.
Of course.
For various reasons. And the society, of course, encourages it. For example, if you as a man, your boss shouts at you at work and then you go and start crying, people will tell you you're being very silly. Can you be serious? Yeah, you're being a baby. But a woman can cry because her boss shouted at her and people tell her, sorry, don't worry, it will be okay, and so on.
Your boss is toxic.
Yeah, your boss is toxic and so on. So in our interactions with women, when you're growing up, for example, you can be told maybe by your mother or an older woman or a sister that never make your wife or your girlfriend cry. And so when you grow up and you see the tears of a woman, you think it's a serious crisis. But you see, when women are interacting, or even when a woman is advising her brother about how to manage a wife or a girlfriend, they'll be able to tell you that those tears, they're just manipulative. They are not real. Don't let her play with you or manipulate you, because those tears are not genuine. So women by themselves, they know that they can shed crocodile tears.
Of course.
Yeah, but these are things that men are not taught. So for many men, like when you catch her maybe red-handed cheating on you, for example, then she starts crying and tells you that it was not a mistake. You're accusing me. You don't trust me. Then you turn it on yourself and realize, oh, okay, maybe this is not what I think it was, because she's crying. Therefore, I must be very wrong about her. So those are the things we are teaching men, that the fact that you are seeing her crying tears does not prove maybe innocence or pain and so on and so forth. Women normally can use tears to misdirect you or to change the conversation, the way it is going into a different direction. So that is the point. When she cries in your presence, it could be she's crying to get a certain outcome. So don't necessarily take those tears to have any deeper meaning than just tears.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
that's quite interesting. Anyway, I found that's the first thing that when I opened this diary, that is what actually hit me first. And anyway, that's a nice explanation. But Unplugged, there's 1, 2, and 3. Someone like I also recently did a TikTok video, and I was telling guys that most of you guys out here are actually emasculated. And again, most of us are actually so blue-pilled. I was actually one of those individuals who was so blue-pilled. And in Unplugged 1, 2, and 3, I'm currently reading Unplugged 3. I've read 1 and 2. And one of the things that actually comes out so strongly is the blue pill theory that has been affecting so many men. And you as an author, good thing you're here today, is it possible for you to demystify, first of all, Unplugged 1? Because I think everyone should first get that copy of Unplugged 1, especially for men.
Yeah.
Same case, I've seen some few women out there fighting you, champion, masculinity at... today is actually fought in terms of it's toxic, but something that protects men is not something that most people actually get. Maybe they want actually shared. Maybe you can actually just share a few pointers on Unplugged 1, probably 2 and 3. Well, let's just talk about Unplugged, because anyway it's unplugged.
Yes. So the current trend is that when a woman advises other women, it is said she's empowering them. When a man advises other men, he's either inciting them or making them toxic. So that is part of the way men are being silenced in the society, and it sort of kills masculinity. But I think there's a sense in which our ancestors probably understood this, because you find that, like among cultures that had circumcision, the men or the boys were taken away, maybe into a forest, or at least removed from the presence of women, so that they can be advised or guided about what being a man is about.
True.
Because women tend to intrude into conversations that men are having. And if you see that in social media, even in the last Unplugged Men's meetup, which we held in Garden Estate, many women were saying they also want to come and they want to listen. They're saying, we won't say anything, but let us just come and see it, and so on and so forth. Okay. So it is part of female nature. They're very curious. But they also tend to, one thing which I've also written in the diary, the success of one gender's sexual strategy is normally predicated on the ignorance of the other genders. Yes. So women don't want you to be knowledgeable or aware about their sexual strategies. Because when you know their sexual strategies, like the one we just talked about of tears,
Yes.
then you'll be able to see through their game or through their lies. So they don't want that. Yeah, so Unplugged, before I wrote Unplugged, by there I felt very sorry for myself because I was also very blue-pilled. And I could see the mistakes that I made in my life, in my relationships, and particularly in my life. Because you see, as a man, the way you manage your life is often reflected in your relationships.
True.
Sometimes when we have bad relationships, we think we have a bad life. But most times, you have a bad relationship because you're not managing your life properly as a man. So the bad relationship is normally a symptom of a problem that you're already having and not addressing. So Unplugged is about making men centered on a purpose, on their identity, and on understanding what it is to be a man.
Of course.
So one thing that I think we've suffered a lot as men is that we go to school with girls up to university, and we think we are like women in the sense that we think it's just the sexual organs that are different about us. But the differences are much, much deeper than just the genders. Even how we think, even how we are structured, the way we are built is completely different from women. And the capabilities that we have are completely different. But you know, when you're in school, we are being taught and being managed as if we are the same. We are not the same at all. So that is the same thing I'm trying to bring out in Unplugged. I want guys to understand that within you are so many things that have made you a performance machine, a machine that is meant and geared for success.
True.
And that's what I'm trying to awaken in men. And I'm so glad, surprisingly, I'm surprised but also very happy that for so many guys it has changed their lives. Like there are guys who've just read Unplugged and their life has turned 360 degrees from who they were. And that was actually my desire. Even myself, Unplugged has changed me. Because as I wrote and I studied about the book, I could see where I went wrong. I could see the mistakes I'm making. And I was able to start changing my life. So my Unplugged is about men realizing that they are, Kevin Samuel used to say that pressure was made for shoulders, not for hips.
True.
We're supposed to embrace the burden of performance. As men, we're supposed to make ourselves our mental point of origin, because blue pill thinking or psychology, which you find in romance novels, in books, in soap operas, in music, and so on, it tells you you're supposed to listen to your woman.
Yes.
I think there's one guy who sang, "When a woman's fed up." Was it R. Kelly? I think it's R. Kelly. It tells you about when a woman is fed up, the thing she's going to do. So some of these songs, when you listen to them, they tell you that you should listen to the woman.
Of course.
And many men have grown up thinking that for you to have success in relationships, it's about listening to the woman.
Yes.
And so many men have actually shut down the voices in themselves. So even when you have your instinct, for example, your wife is telling you, "I'm going out with my girlfriends," you see, and she comes out at 4 a.m. Now I'm talking about married guys.
Yes.
She comes at 4 a.m. Some of them don't even have their panties on. Okay? Their panties in the handbag. But this guy, he has learned to shut down his voices, the voices in his head, until when the wife just tells him a lie, like, "What's happening?" He tells you, "No, I got tired, I was feeling hot, I removed it." He tells you, okay, so that's a good answer. So men, and when we look at the stories, for example, of someone like Samson of Manoah in the Bible.
Yes.
We normally say that when he was dealing with Delilah, in all likelihood, there were instincts that were telling him, "This woman is not the good woman for you. You should not trust this woman. Don't tell her this." But he suppressed his voices. So Unplugged is about, you learn to listen to yourself. You learn to make yourself your mental point of origin. What that normally means, and this is something many men also struggle with, being your mental point of origin does not mean you become selfish.
Yes.
It just means when you wake up in the morning, the first thought you should have is about yourself before you think about somebody else. So, and we use the example of the flight. When you're in the flight, you're told if there's a problem, put on your oxygen mask before you put it onto somebody else. Yes. So it's about enlightened self-interest. So you realize that when you take care of yourself, then you can take care of others.
Yes.
But you see, Blue Pill teaches you that you need to take care of other people. And many men have done that to their detriment.
And you forget about yourself.
You forget about yourself. That's why you find guys who are overweight. Someone is fat, is lazy, because he thinks if he pays all the bills and gives his wife money and everything that she wants, if he doesn't take care of himself, it's still okay. The wife is going to be happy. But those guys are normally left. Actually, that is one of the things that I saw after the COVID, because some of these guys are not abusing their wives. They have money and so on.
They're very good guys.
Yeah, they're good guys. But because they forgot about themselves, they abandoned themselves. The women also ended up abandoning themselves. So I'm teaching guys about being your own mental point of origin, taking care of yourself, taking care of the burden of performance, and also things like outcome independence. Outcome independence is something also we are also not taught. And outcome independence basically means if you decide that you want to pursue something, you need to, don't let your ego get out of the way. You see, for example, for me, I had to write 6 books over the course of, I started in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. So those are 5 years